Am I on? Hello, you guys. How are you guys? It's been a while. It's been exactly 1 week. How's everyone doing? Hey, Nikki, welcome back. Hey, Katie. Nice to see you again. Losh. Lloyd. Hey, guys. What? Losh says we have a long chapter coming today. Really? I don't even know. Uh-oh. That's not good. Real Gamer, what's up? Fluffy Unicorn. How's it going? Hey, Hannah. Hannah says, I almost couldn't find this. Why? Yeah, I had some trouble with the live streaming. Like, I think I did it. I did 2 live streams. Or I doubled it or something. I don't know. Tarantilia, how's it going? All right. So first off, we start off with some boba. So I made boba with cookies and cream today. Can you guys see? Oh yeah, that's right. So let's see how it tastes. I haven't tasted this yet. Not bad. All right. And you guys also wanted me. Someone wanted me to eat Oreos cookies. Oreo cookies with the cookies and cream. I don't know why, but I have Oreos. So I'm gonna dip it into the milk tea and see how it tastes. This is turning into a mukbang. All right. Oreos, cookies and cream. Yep. I'm making a mess. Not bad. Hold on, guys. I need to get a tissue. You guys are making me make a mess. All right. There you go. I think that's too much sweetness. I don't think you should try that at home. Oh, God. All right. There you go. That was the boba segment. Oh yeah, update on my ant situation. Remember last week I said I had ants at the at home. So I am happy to announce that I've won the Great Ants War of 2020. They're all gone. So I used the ant bait. The Taro liquid ant bait. Oh my god, that stuff is so good. I put it down. I put the bait down for like 2 days, and they're all gone now. Gone. They were coming in from the front door, like they owned the place, but now they're all gone. So that's a victory for us. Hey, QP, how's it going? Daughter 9000 says, I see the bubble tea lab is working full steam. That's right. All right. We also had fires. So I live in California. If you haven't heard, my whole state is on fire right now. It's disgusting. And if you guys haven't seen, have you guys seen the fire tornadoes? I'm not even kidding. So let me show you. Let me show you. Apparently, there are now fire tornadoes. What the? Look at this. Look at this. Like, it's literal hell in California right now. There's a fire 3 to 4 miles away from my home right now, so it's a little scary. Okay, they haven't evacuated us yet, but I've known people who've gotten evacuated. Hopefully, that doesn't happen to me. But yeah, I live like on the edge of a large city, so I don't think they're gonna let my city burn. Not gonna let a gigantic city burn. So hopefully we're good. I don't have to leave like in the middle of the stream. Jorojo, yeah, you're at nighttime. Where are you at, Jorojo? Lakshmi, hey Lakshmi, extra education with Linfamy. I don't know about education, but I'm gonna read you guys a story. All right, so hopefully fire doesn't interrupt our stream today. What are we doing today? Jim Pennon says, "Where will you go if you are evacuated?" My parents live close by, so I can just go over to them. Yeah, the problem is they're kind of really close. Well, they're kind of close by, but it's still within range of the fire. Like I said, the fire is like 3 to 4 miles away. So the situation could happen where I get evacuated, and then I go to my parents' house, and then they get evacuated too. In that case, we have family in the area, so I think we can stay with them. Hopefully, that doesn't happen. I don't think it will happen. So I don't want to like scare you guys or anything. I don't think it'll happen. Oh no, Lloyd! You're saying the fire tornadoes are the ants attacking me, or the ants counter attacking me? I don't think so. I think the ants are all dead. It's so like I've demolished them. Hey, Yuhin Tam, welcome back. Okay, I think we should get started. Yeah. Oh, that's really sweet. The Oreos are still in my mouth. All right. Let's recap what happened last week. So last week, remember we met this young little girl who was like spouting her mouth off at Yuchang High, and so the Yilin's master tells her to take this little girl home. The little girl's name is Chu Feiyan. Okay, so Chu Feiyan and Yilin are outside of the house, and Chu Feiyan takes her to a brothel. At first, she doesn't know that it was a brothel, but then she eventually finds out, right? So remember, she's a nun, so it's weird for her to be in a brothel. But Chu Feiyan brings her there and then tells her to help this one guy who is really hurt, right? And this one guy is lying on the bed. And Yilin helps him, okay? Because she doesn't know who he is yet, because it's all dark and everything. She doesn't know who he is. She helps him with her medicine, her super nun medicine. And then she eventually finds out that he is actually Ling Hu Chong, okay? So she's really surprised, and we find out that Ling Hu Chong is still alive, okay? We thought he was dead before, but nope, he's still alive. And then, all of a sudden, the people at the Five Mountains Sword Alliance, and everyone that was in the house where they were retelling her story, Yilin's story, they come over, and apparently they're outside, and they call her out, and Yu Changhai fights with Lin Pingzhi, right? Remember, Lin Pingzhi is the guy whose parents were attacked. So he fights Lin Pingzhi, but then Mu Gaofeng, the guy, his name is the Hunchback of the North. Okay, he saves him. Okay, and then they both fight over him, because Mu Gaofeng finds out that Lin Pingzhi's family has this really powerful sword art, right? So they fight with each other, but then Yu Shanghai admits defeat, or he doesn't want to fight anymore, and then they all go away. And then you were left with Mu Gaofeng and Lin Pingzhi. And then Mu Gaofeng tries to get Lin Pingzhi to call him his master. He's like, if you call me your master, then I'll teach you my martial arts. And then so you can get revenge for your parents. And then, so Lin Pingzhi says he doesn't really want to do that, but he figures he should do that. He has to do that in order to save his family. So he does it, right? So he bows, or he starts to bow and call Mu Gaofeng his master. But Mu Gaofeng, for some reason, just decides to push his head down, like, hey, you better bow down to me, okay? And Lin Pingzhi doesn't like that, right? He's like, he hesitates. And that's where we stop. Yeah. I think that's all that happened, right? If I forgot anything, please tell me. Orava song. I studied to be a forest firefighter. You need to make a fire break. What? What's a fire break? He can review pho. I don't know if I can do that because I'm gonna cause a mess. If you don't know, so you can't see my desk, but my desk is just it's this mic and everything, so I can't even put anything on my desk. It's just all full. It's all full of microphones and Oreos and freaking milk tea. Oh, the fires! The fires started started by lightning. So there was a thunderstorm, a dry thunderstorm. So it wasn't even raining. It was just lightning. Lightning was happening all over the state, and it just started a bunch of fires. And apparently from today to Tuesday, there's going to be another thunderstorm. So we might be in for a couple of more fires. A couple more fires. Hopefully not, but I don't know. Yuhin Tom says, nice haircut. Oh, thank you. Yeah. You guys like it? See, I just did the same haircut that I did my usual haircut. Because I asked you guys before if you wanted me to get like some other type of haircut. But no one said anything. Or there was no consensus. So I don't know. Let me know what kind of haircut you want me to do. I'll do it. Within reason, I'm not going to get a mohawk. But I'll do whatever you do, whatever you say. Nikki says, Yilin found her crush. Oh yeah, Yilin is totally thirsting after Ling Huchong. Like, she's a nun, but she's super thirsty. Like me, like I'm drinking so much. Amy, yes, I lowered my ear. Thanks, Amy. I didn't get a haircut. I just kind of lowered the ear. All right, let's get started, guys. What are we doing? Let's get started. Chapter 5, Healing, Part 2. All right, this is Lin Pingzhi talking. Remember, he's currently on the ground, almost bowing to this guy to be his master. I will agree to be your apprentice only after you agree to rescue my parents. But there's no way I am going to kowtow today, he said loudly. Did you say no way? Let's give it a try and see if there's really no way. The Mu Gaofeng has this really high voice, apparently, so I'm trying to... That's my high voice, okay? Mu Gaofeng said angrily. He pushed even harder. Lin Pingzhi fought with all his strength and struggled to stand up, but he felt as if he was under a 1,000-pound rock and simply could not. So he pushed on the ground with his hands Fuck! Oh, god damn it. I keep forgetting to change to the live screen. Ah, that's one shot today. That's one shot today. Why, guys? Chat's calling me out. Alright, the screen is on. Alright. I have the text on the screen. Thanks. Thanks, guys. Lin Pingzhi fought with all his strength and struggled to stand up, but he felt as if he was under a 1,000-pound rock and simply could not. So he pushed on the ground with his hands and struggled some more. Gradually, Mu Gaofeng put more and more strength into the push. Lin Pingzhi could hear his neck joints cracking because of the pressure. Kowtow or not, just a bit more strength from my hand would break your neck, Mu Gaofeng said while laughing loudly. Lin Pingzhi's head was pushed down inch by inch, and soon was only half foot from the ground. I won't, he kept on yelling. Let's see how you won't kowtow. Mu Gaofeng used a little bit more strength, and Lin Pingzhi's forehead went 2 inches closer to the ground. Suddenly, Lin Pingzhi felt heat coming from his back, and a stream of smooth energy fed into his body. The push atop his head suddenly felt like nothing. He pushed at the ground, and then easily stood up. This was a complete surprise for Lin Pingzhi. To Mu Gaofeng, the surprise was even greater. The inner energy that overwhelmed his strength seemed to be the famous divine art of Violet Twilight of the Huashang Sword School. He had heard before that this style of inner energy started off indistinct, like the twilights in the sky. But the stamina had great persistency, and the strength would be later released like a storm with devastating power. That was why it got its name of Violet Twilight. Astonished, Mu Gaofeng quickly put his hand back on Lin Pingzhi's head, but as soon as his hand touched Lin Pingzhi's forehead, a stream of persistent energy rose from Lin's forehead and shocked his hand. Mu Gaofeng felt numbness in his arm and dull pain coming from his chest. Oh, what's happening here? All of a sudden, Lin Pingzhi has a bunch of powers, like a bunch of inner energy. Hey, Bigfoot. Welcome back. Yep, that's my excuse to drink. That is, I just wanted to drink. I didn't forget at all. I didn't forget the text. I just needed a drink. Dr. Cake. Hey, Dr. Cake. Welcome back. Mu Gaofeng stepped back. Is that Brother Yue of the Huashang Sword School? He asked with a dry smile. Why are you hiding behind the corner to play tricks on a hunchback? Smiling, the man with the look of a scholar strolled out from behind the corner of the wall. Waving a folding fan leisurely in his right hand, he looked very graceful. Brother Mu, the man greeted. After so many years, you still look so young and energetic. How wonderful. Mu Gaofeng immediately recognized him. He was indeed Gentleman Sword, Yue Buchun, headmaster of the Huashang Sword School. Mu had always been in dread of him. Now, since Mu was caught bullying a junior who basically had no kung fu skills, and because Yue even gave the young lad a helping hand, Mu Gaofeng felt very awkward. So this is Yue Buchun. All right. Yue Buchun, right? I mean, Katie from the chat told me how to pronounce this name before, but I just forgot it. We're gonna go with Yue Buchun. Yue Buchun. So this guy is the master of the Huashang Sword School. Okay, the same school as Ling Hu Chong. Brother Yue, he grinned. You are just getting younger and younger. I wish you could be my master and teach me this yin-yang nourishment method. Bah, you hunchback, stop the silly jokes. When old friends reunite, there are many good topics to talk about. Yet you only spout nonsense. How would I know such a lewd method? Yue Buchun rebuffed. Nobody's going to believe that you don't know that nourishment method. Otherwise, how do you manage to look as young as my grandson when you are actually almost 60 years old? Mu Gaofeng said. Oh, he has like a fountain of youth or something. When Mu Gaofeng's hand moved away from his forehead, Lin Pingzhi had already jumped back several steps. He looked at the scholarly man carefully. The man had a long goatee and a neat and clean face that shined with honesty and integrity. Admiration rose from within Lin Pingzhi's heart. Hearing Mu Gaofeng calling him Brother Yue of the Huashang Sword School, and figuring out it was this man who had just saved them, it suddenly dawned on him. Could this graceful man be the headmaster of the Huashang Sword School, Mr. Yue? But his age is far from what I'd expected. He looked like a 40-year-old man. Lao Dunhua and his apprentice. Lao Dunhua is his apprentice, but is much older than him. After he heard Mu Gaofeng's comments regarding Yue's way of staying young, he suddenly remembered that he had heard what he had heard from his mother before. When a kung fu master reaches the highest state with his inner energy, he can not only extend his lifespan, but also recover his youthful vigor. Maybe this Mr. Yue had reached that state. His admiration grew even more. Brother Mu is kidding me again, Yue Buchun said with a light smile. Brother Mu, this young man is a dutiful son, almost a man of integrity. He is good material for an apprentice. No wonder Brother Mu likes him so much. All the trouble he has today originated from his saving my daughter, Ling Shang, in Fuzhou. I really could not just stand aside and not do anything. Will you please show him mercy for my sake? Mu Gaofeng appeared to be amazed. What? Just with the little kung fu he has, he could save niece Ling Shan? We probably have to reverse that. It was more likely that niece Ling Shan's sharp eyes picked out this handsome boy. Knowing that the hunchback was a mean and obscene person and that there probably wouldn't be any good comments coming from his mouth, Yue Buchun quickly cut him off. When people from the chivalrous side encounter trouble, they help those in need. The help could be as much as risking one's life, or as little as giving a word of advice. It doesn't really matter how great one's kung fu skills are. Brother Mu, if you are determined to take him as your apprentice, why don't you let the young man ask permission from his parents first, and then come to submit himself to you? Wouldn't that be a win-win solution? Mu Gaofeng knew well that once Yue Buchun stepped in, things would simply not go as he had wished. So he shook his head. I just had a sudden impulse and wanted to take him as my apprentice, but I've lost that interest. Even if this lad kowtows to me 10,000 times now, I won't take him anymore. Out of the blue, he gave Lin Pingzhi a hard kick, which sent him into the air and sprawling 20 feet away. Yue Buchun did not expect that in any way. Mu Gaofeng had shown no sign of a sudden kick. Once his leg was extended, it was already too late to stop him. Lin Pingzhi jumped up immediately after he landed and did not appear to have been injured. Brother Mu, why are you acting like a child? I'll have to say you are the one getting younger now, Yue Buchun said. Relax, Brother Yue, Mu Gaofeng grinned. Although I am bold, I would never dare to offend your... Haha, I don't even know what he's going to become of yours. See you. Goodbye. I never thought even the famous Huashang Sword School would be interested in the evil-resisting sword manuscript. He started stepping back as he spoke. Yue Buchun jumped forth. Brother Mu, what are you talking about? He demanded loudly. Suddenly his face seemed to turn a violet color, but the violet color only stayed for a brief moment before returning to Yue's normal coloration. Mu Gaofeng saw the color change and felt a shiver from his heart. So that was indeed the divine art of Violet Twilight of the Huashang Sword School, he thought. Yu Buchun has good sword skills on top of this amazing inner energy. I'd better not get into a fight with him. So he let out a grin. I have no clue as to what that evil-resisting sword manuscript is. I am only joking about it since I saw how Yu Changhai of the Qincheng Sword School worked hard to get his hands on it. Brother Yue, please don't mind me. Please don't mind me. He turned around and walked away. Hey, Streety McMeaty. I love that. I love that name. Dr. Cake says, "So, Mr. Fammy, what are you? What do you mean? What am I? What am I drinking? This is just water. I don't think I can drink that milk tea too much while reading because it makes your mouth dry." Amanda, hey Amanda. Oh, you're not late. You're just in time. Well, yeah. Well, studying is important, so you should be studying. You and Tom, you're in the middle of a class? Come on. Good job. Dr. Cake. No, I do have boba today. See? I have it. I'm just not gonna drink it too much. I'll take a sip from time to time. Yue Buchun watched until Mu Gaofeng disappeared into the darkness of the night. Letting out a sigh, he murmured, "People having that level of kung fu skills are rare in the martial world, but he would rather abandon himself to..." He held back the word vice to himself and just shook his head in disappointment. Lin Pingzhi came rushing over, knelt down in front of him, and started to kowtow. "I beg you, master, to take me as your apprentice. I promise to follow your word of advice and obey all school rules. I will never dare to not listen to the master's words." "If I take you as my apprentice, Hunchback Mu will probably start a rumor saying that I robbed him of his student." Yue Buchun smiled lightly. "As soon as I saw you, master, I felt unspeakable admiration. It's my honest wish from the bottom of my heart to become your apprentice," Lin Pingzhi said while kowtowing nonstop. "Very well," Yue Buchun smiled. "I will take you. But you have not asked permission from your parents yet. We need to find out if they agree or not. If I am lucky enough to become your apprentice, my parents would be very grateful. There would be no reason why they would object. The villains of the Qincheng Sword School captured my parents. I will need the master's help in that matter," Lin Pingzhi said. Yue Buchun nodded. "All right, get up. Let's go look for your parents." He turned and shouted, "Denhua, Liangfa, and Lingshan, you can come out now." A group of people walked out from behind the wall. Lin Pingzhi recognized them as the apprentices of the Huashang Sword School. It turned out that they had all arrived a while ago. Yue Buchun had told them to hide behind the wall and only come out after Mu Gaofeng had left, thus saving some embarrassment for Mu Gaofeng. "Congratulations on taking a new apprentice, master," the Huashang apprentices all said cheerfully. "Pingzhi," Yue Buchun said with a smile on his face, "you have met these senior apprentice brothers a while back in the small tea shop. Now go ahead and pay your respects to them." The old man was second senior brother Lao De Noir. The big, tall apprentice was third senior brother Liang Fa. The apprentice who had dressed as a porter was a fourth senior brother Xu Daizhi. The one holding an abacus was fifth senior brother Gao Genming. Then there was sixth senior brother Lu Dayou. Each of these apprentices was the type not easily forgotten. Seventh senior brother Tao Jun and eighth senior brother Ying Luo Bai were two young apprentices. Lin Pingzhi saluted them one by one. That's a lot of people. Giggles came from behind Yue Buchun's back. A gentle but crisp voice asked, "Daddy, am I a senior apprentice sister or a junior apprentice sister?" In a daze, Lin Pingzhi recognized the wine-selling girl as the one called Little Apprentice Sister, standing by all the other Huashan apprentices. She was actually the master's daughter. Sticking her head out from behind Yue Buchun's back, showing only half her snow-white face, she quickly glanced at Lin Pingzhi with her rolling eyes, then hid back behind Yue Buchun again. Lin Pingzhi thought, "I remember the girl in the wine shop had a very ugly, pox-covered face. How did her face change?" In the dim moonlight, he could not see the girl's face clearly when she stuck her head out, and then drew it back so hurriedly. But even so, he could tell that the face was a pretty one. Then he remembered. She did mention that she disguised herself when she sold wine outside of the town of Fuzhou. Sister Dingyu also said that she had taken on a very grotesque disguise. Obviously, she intentionally concealed her face with an ugly disguise. So now we find out that what's her name? Ling Shan is actually not ugly, and she doesn't have pockmarks, right? She's actually really pretty. Hey, Shaggy the writer, what's up? Thanks for the super chat. He says Adventures in the Multiverse book on Barnes and Noble or Amazon. All right. Hey, go buy his book. I'll read whatever you guys say on the super chat. Dun, dun, dun. Scream Cheese says Xiaojian. Xiaojian on the video thumbnail threw me off. Yeah. He's a good he has a good face and he makes you click. All right. Dun, 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 dun. All right. I think every half hour I'll take a break. So let's take a break. Let's do let's do 5 minutes. 5 minutes break, guys. Losh sent me a song that I can play, so I'll do that. Thanks, Losh. I'll play it during the break. Alright guys, 5 minutes, be right back. DSK says, I'm sorry, Linfamy. Why are you sorry? What did you do? What did you do to me? Jigsaw plays. Hey, Jigsaw, how's it going? Nikki says, Amanda, you should send Linfamy one of your live stream paintings. You do live stream paintings? That's cool. Do you have a channel? Maybe I'll check it out. Oh yeah, so exclusive for you guys on the stream. I'm gonna start a Discord channel, so Discord server, yeah, Discord server, because some people have asked for it. So that I'm gonna announce it like I think tomorrow. So watch out for that. DSK. Oh, you missed the first half? That's okay. That's fine. You didn't miss much. Oh, Amanda, you have no content on your channel. Why not? Put some content on there. Do live stream paintings. Dr. Cake says, did you get a haircut? I sure did. I sure did. I'm taking suggestions on what my next haircut should be. So let me know. Well, I don't have the Discord yet. Right now it's private, but I'll make it public soon. Yeah, I need some good moderators. All right. So, because I don't trust you guys. I don't know what you guys are gonna say on there. You're all degenerates. Oh, Amanda, you do mini sculptures? That's awesome. Dreadlocks. It's too short to have dreadlocks. No. Sasuke style? What is Sasuke style? That's way too long. Like, I'm thinking short hair, because I can't grow it that long. Shave your name into your hair. Yeah, and folks would be posting dirty pics. Yeah, I know, Nikki. I know, folks. Some folks would be doing that. Bozu haircut. Oh my god. This one looks pretty good. How about this guy? He has a little goatee, which I can't grow. I don't know if I want to. Yeah, when I was young, my hair used to be really long. Well, not really long, but like this long. And it was like parted in the middle. Not good. Like if you look back at it, ooh, ugh. Um, and when I was like a little kid, like when I was 7 or something, my hair was puffy and it looked like Frankenstein. For some reason, it goes up like this, but then it just stays flat at the top, like Frankenstein. I don't know if I don't know if I have a picture. I'll find a picture for you guys. It's so funny. How about this? Ugh. No, he's too manly for me. How about that? You guys know that guy? That guy's funny. All right, let's do this. So looks like Lin Pingqi just joined the Huashang Sword School. Good for him, you know. Like he worked hard. He traveled a long way, so he should be in that school. Every uh, Everyone here all joined the school later than you, but they still call you Little Apprentice Sister. You are destined to be called Little Apprentice Sister. So of course, it's a Little Apprentice Sister again. Yue Buchun laughed. No way, the girl declared with a grin. Starting from now, I am going to be a Senior Apprentice Sister. Daddy, Junior Apprentice Brother Lin will have to call me Senior Apprentice Sister. Later, when you get another 100 or 200 apprentices, they all have to call me Senior Apprentice Sister. Giggling, she walked out from behind Yue Buchun. Under the dim moonlight, Lin Pingzhi could vaguely make out a pretty oval face and a pair of bright eyes looking straight at his face. Lin Pingzhi bowed deeply. Senior Apprentice Sister Yue. Wait. Who's saying that? Oh, that's Lin Pingzhi. Senior Apprentice Sister Yue, I only gained Master's mercy and became an apprentice today. The one who becomes an apprentice earlier is the senior. Of course, I am the junior apprentice. Yue Lingshan was very pleased. She turned to her dad. Daddy, he called me Senior Apprentice Sister out of his own free will. I didn't force him. Yue Buchun laughed. He had just joined our school, and you are already talking about forcing. He will probably think that everyone in our school is like you, the seniors forcing their wills upon the juniors. What a frightening prospect. All the apprentices laughed at these words. Daddy, Yue Lingshan said, Big Apprentice Brother was hiding here to recover from his wounds. He was struck by that stinky Taoist priest and is in a serious condition. Let's go find him quickly. Yue Buchun frowned and shook his head. Genming, Daiji, you two go carry Big Apprentice Brother out, he said. Gao Genming and Xu Daizi answered in unison and both jumped into the room through the window. But soon they reported, Master, Big Apprentice Brother is not here. There's no one in the room. Candlelight spilled through the window when they lit the candle in the room. Yue Buchun frowned even more as he really did not want to enter such a disreputable place. You, he said to Lao Dunhua, go in there and check it out. Yes, master, Lao Dunhua answered and then walked towards the window. I'll go check too, Yue Lingshan suggested. Yue Buchun grabbed at her arm. Nonsense! You are not allowed to go in places like this. Yue Lingshan almost cried. But Big Apprentice Brother is so badly wounded. I am afraid that he will die. Don't worry, Yue Buchun whispered. He had the heavenly connecting glue of the Hangshang Sword School applied already. He won't die. Daddy, how did you know? Yue Lingshan was surprised while cheerful. Shut up, don't be so noisy. Yue Buchun cut her off. I would look great with a mustache. No, I would not. I would not. My dad has a mustache like this. He like has this really big old mustache. And it's weird. Okay, guys, tell me, okay? Is it weird to have a mustache but no beard? Just a mustache. That looks weird, right? That looks like I don't know, that looks like a that's the pedophile look. The gigantic mustache. I don't know. Dun, dun, dun. Ling Hucheng was already badly wounded before he took the energy blow from Yu Kanghai's palm strike. His wounds pained him greatly and he spat out more blood, but his mind was still clear. He heard the arguments between Mu Gaofeng and Yu Changhai, how everybody left, and how his master had showed up. He was a man who feared nothing except his master. As soon as he heard his master talking to Mu Gaofeng, thoughts of how his master would punish him for all the mischief he had gotten into crossed his mind. The worry was so great that he even forgot about the pain from his wounds. He turned to the bed and whispered, "A disaster is about to strike. My master is here. Let's get out of here." Right after these words, he staggered out of the room and steadying himself against the wall. Chu Feiyan dragged Yilin from under the quilt and followed him. Seeing how Ling Hucheng teetered along and was on the brink of falling down at any second, Yilin and Chu Feiyan both rushed over and supported him by his arms. Ling Hucheng clenched his teeth and walked through a corridor. He knew that his master had outstanding eyes and ears. The moment he walked out, the master would know about it. Seeing a big room to the right, he immediately walked into it. Close the door and the window, he said. Xu Feiyan followed his instruction and shut the door and window. Ling Hucheng could not maintain his composure any longer and collapsed onto the bed, breathing hard. The three of them kept very quiet, and after a long while, they heard Yue Buchun's voice far away saying, "He's not here. Let's go." Ling Hucheng let out a long breath and felt much more relaxed. After some time had passed, someone came into the backyard and called out in a low voice, "Big apprentice brother! Big apprentice brother!" It was Lu Dayu. Lu Dayo. Ling Hucheng thought, Monkey 6 has always been the closest to me. That's his nickname, Monkey 6. He almost answered when he suddenly heard the bed curtain shaking. It was Yilin trembling in fright when she heard somebody approaching. If I answer Monkey 6, Ling Hucheng thought, it could really ruin the little sister's reputation. So he kept his silence. Lu Dayo walked past the window while calling, "Big apprentice brother! Big apprentice brother!" all the way. The calling receded further and further and finally faded into the night. "Hey, Ling Hucheng," Chu Feiyan suddenly broke the silence. "Are you going to die?" "How can I die? If I die, it would really hurt the reputation of the Hangshang Sword School, and I'd be letting them down," Ling Hucheng answered. "How do you figure?" Surprised, Chu Feiyan asked. "I've had so much of that magical medicine of the Hangshang Sword School, both inside and outside. If I still can't be healed, I'd be letting this sister of the Hangshang Sword School down," Ling Hucheng replied. "Yep, if you died, you would really be letting her down," Chu Feiyan grinned. Knowing how seriously Ling Hucheng had been wounded, and seeing how he was still making jokes, Yilin admired his attitude and almost felt a bit less stressful. If you groom the mustache, it would look refined. Like, should I like make it a little like the, what do you call that? The evil bad guy type of mustache? Ling Hucheng, wait, hold on. "Big brother Ling Hu, you've just taken a hit from Yu Changhai. Let me see your wounds again." Ling Hucheng struggled to sit up, but Chu Feiyan said, never mind your manners. Lie down." Ling Hucheng felt so weak that he really could not sit up, so he lay back down. Chu Feiyan lit a candle. Yilin could see blood all over Ling Hucheng's robe, so she threw away all worry about propriety, gently lifted his long robe, and wiped off the blood around the wounds with a towel hanging by a rack. Taking the heavenly connecting glue from her pocket, She applied all of the remainder onto Ling Huchong's wounds. What a waste to put so much precious medicine on me, Ling Huchong laughed. Big brother Ling Hu, Yilin said, you were badly wounded all because of me. This medicine is the least I can offer, even if. She did not know what to say, but just mumbled a little and then continued. Even my respectful master praised you as a young hero who is always ready to take on villains for a just cause. Because of that, she even got into an argument with Master Yu. No need to praise me. As long as the respectful sister doesn't scold me, I'd be completely thankful. Ling Huchong grinned. Why would my master scold you? Yilin said. Big brother Ling Hu, just rest quietly for 24 hours, and if your wounds don't break open again, you should be alright. She took out another 3 White Cloud Bear gallbladder pills and helped Ling Huchong to take them. Sis, Chu Feiyan said out of a sudden. Out of a sudden? That should be all of a sudden. Sis, Chu Feiyan said all of a sudden. You stay here and be his company. Watch out for bad guys who want to get him. My grandpa is still waiting for me. I gotta go. No, Yilin cried in worry. You cannot go. How can I stay here by myself? Isn't Ling Huchong here too? Chu Feiyan grinned. You are not all by yourself. She turned around and started heading out. Yilin was greatly concerned. She jumped forth and gripped Chu's left arm. In her rush, she had used the holding technique of the Hangshang Sword School and grabbed her arm tightly. Don't go, she cried. Ouch! Are you trying to fight me? Chu Feiyan chuckled. Yilin blushed and then let go of her arm. My good girl, please stay here and keep me company, she pleaded. Okay, fine. I'll stay to be your company. Ling Huchong is not a bad guy, so why are you afraid of him? Chu Feiyan said. Sorry, Chu, did I hurt you? Yilin asked while feeling less awkward. Nah, it doesn't hurt, but Ling Huchong seems to be hurting a lot, Chu Feiyan said. Yilin was in a shock. She lifted the curtains and checked immediately, only finding Ling Huchong sleeping soundly with both of his eyes shut tight. She felt Ling Huchong's breathing with her hand and could tell that he was breathing in a good rhythm. Just when she felt a little bit better, she heard Chu Feiyan's giggles and the sound of the window opening. She turned around in a hurry and saw Chu Feiyan jumping out of the window. She's a clever little girl, isn't she? Yilin was astounded and felt completely lost. She walked next to the bed and called, Big brother Ling Hu? Big brother Ling Hu? She just left. But the effects of the medicine had kicked in. Ling Huchong was completely out. He didn't hear any of Yilin's words. Trembling, Yilin was very frightened. It took her a long while before she gained enough strength to shut the window. I'd better leave soon, she thought aloud. What if Big brother Ling Hu wakes up and then starts talking to me? What am I going to do then? Then she thought, he is so weak right now. Even a child could easily kill him. How could I leave him and just flee the scene? In the dark night, occasional dog barks echoed from deep valleys far away. Other than those occasional sounds, there was just dead silence. People from the brothel had fled a long time ago. It almost felt as if Ling Huchong, behind the bed curtain, was the only person left in the entire world beside her. Yilin sat stiffly on a chair, afraid to move. After what seemed like an eternity, cock crows could be heard from all directions. It was almost dawn. Yilin started to worry again. It's going to be daybreak soon, and then people would be arriving. What should I do? She had been a Buddhist ever since she was a small child, and had always been taken care of by Sister Ding Yi, so she really lacked real-life experience on how to handle difficult situations. She could only worry, having no idea of what to do. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps came from the alley outside. It seemed to be from 3 or 4 people. The sound of their footsteps could clearly be heard in the stillness of dawn. The group stopped in front of the gate of the Jade House. You two, search the east side. The 2 of us will search the west side. If anyone spots Ling Huchong, make sure you capture him alive. He is very badly wounded and won't be able to resist, a voice said. When Yulin first heard the sound of people coming, she was terrified. Then, when she heard them talking about capturing Ling Hucheng, she formed a resolve in her mind. No matter what, I will protect Big Brother Ling Hu and never let him fall into the bad guy's hands. As soon as she made up her mind, fear seemed to slip away and her brain started functioning again. She rushed over by the bed and pulled out the bed sheet. After quickly wrapping Ling Hucheng in the sheet, she picked him up in her arms, blew out the candlelight, and pushed open the door gently and then sneaked out. She couldn't tell which direction she was going and just made sure she was walking in the opposite direction from which the voices came. As soon as she passed a vegetable garden and arrived at the back door. The back door was already half open. When the occupants of the brothel left, they probably just left it open in their hurry. She carried Ling Hucheng out of the back door and dashed along the small alley. In no time, she had reached the town wall. I must get out of the town. There are simply too many enemies for Big Brother Ling Hu, she thought. She walked along the town wall, and as soon as she reached the town gate, she dashed out. She kept running non-stop for at least 3 or 4 miles. She intentionally picked small roads that led into the mountains. Then, when there were no more roads, she found herself in a small alley. Feeling a tad relieved, she looked down at Ling Hucheng and found him staring right into her eyes, a smile on his face. Yilin almost panicked. Her arms started quivering, and Ling Hucheng's body slipped out of her arms. Oops, she cried out and rapidly bent down and extended her arm in a move called Carry the Holy Scripture. Luckily, her reactions were quick, and she caught him before he hit the ground. But because she lost her balance, she staggered before regaining her balance. Sorry, she said hurriedly. Are your wounds still hurting? I am fine. Why don't you take a rest? Ling Hucheng smiled. Yilin had completely forgotten about herself when she was running away from the Qincheng apprentices. All she could think of was how to keep Ling Hucheng out of danger. Now, when they were finally safe, she felt like her body was ready to fall apart. She used up her last bit of strength and put Ling Hucheng down on the meadow, gently, and then collapsed onto the meadow, breathing hard, trying to catch her breath. Ew, chat. What? Boba pizza? Come on. That doesn't sound very appetizing. You forgot to control your breathing when you were running, Ling Hucheng said, with a smile. That is a big no for us martial arts students. It makes one more likely to get hurt. Yilin blushed slightly. Thanks for the advice, Big Brother Ling Hu. My master had taught me the same thing before, but I forgot it in all the commotion. She paused for a second and then asked, How are your wounds? They don't hurt as much now, but they're just a bit itchy and numb, Ling Hucheng said. Great, great, Yilin exclaimed. When a wound gets itchy and numb, that means it's healing. I didn't expect would start healing this fast. Shaggy the Writer, thanks for the super chat. He says, hey, read books every day. La da 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 da. That's probably a song that I don't know. Ling Hucheng was quite moved seeing Yilin's joy. It's all due to the magical medicine of your respectful school. He let out a sigh. Too bad we had to suffer humiliations from those low-life scoundrels because of my wounds. If we had fallen into Qingcheng's hands earlier, it would be no big deal if I got killed right away. But most likely they would have to try to humiliate us even further, he said grouchily. So you heard everything? Yilin asked. She felt completely embarrassed when she thought about how he could have been staring at her for the entire time she carried him while running away. Her face reddened. Ling Hucheng didn't realize that she was actually feeling embarrassed and thought she was just exhausted from so much running. Apprentice sister, why don't you do some of the breathing exercises of your school to help harmonize your inner energy so you don't suffer any internal injuries? All right, Yilin agreed. She sat down cross-legged and tried to work her inner energy with the breathing techniques taught by her master, but she felt very uneasy and simply could not calm herself down to focus on the breathing exercises. Every other minute, she would glance at Ling Hu Chong to see if his wounds had gotten any better or worse, or if he was looking at her. At the fourth glance, her eyes happened to catch Ling Hu Chong's eyes. With a big shock, she immediately shut her eyes tightly. Ling Hu Chong, on the other hand, started laughing loudly. Yilin blushed even more and asked shyly, why are you laughing? Nothing, Ling Hu Chong said. You are still young and probably don't do well with the meditative exercises. If you can't calm down and get focused, then don't force yourself. Uncle Master Ding Yi must have taught you that if you work too hard on your exercises, it actually does more harm than good. Especially for breathing exercises, you need to find yourself in a calm state. He paused for a moment to catch on with his breath and then continued. Don't worry, my base energy is refilling itself slowly. Even if those Chinchung crooks come after us, there's no need to be afraid. We'll just let them demonstrate. Demonstrate that bum back. Demonstrate the Chinchung Sword School's geese landing in sand technique. Yilin smiled. Right, Ling Hu Chong grinned. That's good. The bum back part does not sound very graceful. Let's just call it the Chinchung Sword School's geese landing in sand technique. After saying the last word, he had to catch his breath again. Don't talk too much. Take a good long nap, Yilin suggested. My master is also in the town of Hangshan now. I wish I could get up right now and go to Uncle Master Liu's house to watch the fun, Ling Hu Chong murmured. Yilin noticed Ling Hu Chong's lips were chapped and his eye sockets were also very dry. It must have been because he had lost so much blood. He was in terrible need to drink some water. Let me go find some water for you. You must be thirsty, right? She asked. On our way here, I saw lots of watermelons in the field to the left. Why don't you go get some? Ling Hu Chong suggested. All right. Yilin stood up and checked her pockets, but could not find any money. Big brother Ling Hu, do you have any money with you? She asked. For what? For the watermelons, of course. Did you actually want to pay for them? Ling Hu Chong grinned. You can just go pick some. There's nobody living close by. The owner must live far away. Who are you going to buy from? But to take it without consent is stealing, Yilin mumbled, and that's the second prohibition in the 5 prohibitions. We can't do that. If we don't have any money, we can beg alms from them. I am sure they will be kind enough to give us a watermelon. Ling Hu Chong became impatient. You little, he wanted to say, you little silly nun. But because of her efforts on his behalf, he stopped at the word little. Yilin could tell that he was disgruntled, so she dared not say a word, and simply walked toward the direction they had come from, looking for the watermelon field. After about a mile's walk, she did see several acres of field full of watermelons. Only chirping from cicadas filled the air. There was no one around at all. Big brother Ling Hu wanted to have some watermelons, but these watermelons all belong to someone. How can I steal from them? She murmured to herself. She strode another half a mile and walked on top of a small rise to look around, but still could find no one, not even a shed or a hut. So she had to walk back to the watermelon field. Standing in the middle of the field, she hesitated for a long time before finally sticking her hands out to pick a melon. But then she pulled her hands back when she remembered the prohibition told many times by her master, that no one should ever steal from others. She wanted to walk away from the field, but then Ling Hu Chong's thirsty face appeared in her mind. She clenched her teeth and put her palms together, then prayed inwardly. Dear Buddha, I really don't want to steal. It's all because Big brother Ling Hu wants to eat some watermelon. But when she thought about it again, Big brother Ling Hu wants to eat some watermelon really wasn't a great reason. She was so worried that teardrops started emerging in her eyes. She held the watermelon with both hands and then lifted it up. The stem broke easily. He has saved my life, she thought. What's the big deal if I have to fall down to hell and never be reborn again? Well, that got dark really fast. The one who commits the crime will be the one responsible. It's me, Yilin, who broke the prohibition. It has nothing to do with Big brother Ling Hu. She held the watermelon in her arms and then walked back. It seems she's having a crisis of faith here. Katie, thirsty face. I like that. I didn't catch that. She looked at his thirsty face. I think her face is a little thirsty. Yeah, right. Like I would just steal the watermelons. Like, come on. You need to save the guy. Ling Hucheng never really took common rules and prohibitions seriously. When he heard Yilin talking about begging alms for a watermelon, he simply assumed this nun was too young and inexperienced. He had never expected the matter of getting a watermelon to be such a great moral dilemma for her. When he saw Yilin back with the melon, he was very pleased. Good apprentice sister. What a well-behaved little girl, he praised. Yilin felt a shock in her heart when she heard how he had called her, and almost dropped the watermelon. She quickly wrapped it in the front of her robe. Ling Hucheng laughed. Why are you so worried? Was someone after you because you stole his watermelons? No, no one is after me. Yilin blushed and then sat down slowly. The sun had risen from the east. It was a sunny day. Ling Hucheng and Yilin were sitting by the shady side of the mountain, and the sun had yet to reach their side. All the trees around them had been washed by the recent rain and looked greener than usual. Clear and fresh air filled the valley. Yilin collected herself and then pulled out the broken sword by her waist. Seeing the broken tip of the sword, she thought, that villain Tianbo Guang really had high kung fu skills. If it weren't for big brother Ling Hu risking his life to save me, I wouldn't be sitting here in peace. She glanced at Ling Hucheng from the corner of her eyes and saw a bloodless face with sunken eye sockets. For him, she thought, even if I have to violate more rules and break more prohibitions, I will have no regrets. To steal a watermelon is really nothing. By then, she finally cleared all the guilt from her mind. She wiped the broken sword clean with a corner of her robe and then sliced the watermelon open. A sweet smell quickly filled the air. Good melon! Ling Hucheng sniffed and then shouted, Apprentice sister, I just remembered a joke. In the Lantern Festival earlier this year, when several fellow apprentices of our Huashang Sword School got together to drink wine, little apprentice sister Ling Shan composed a riddle. It went, a small dog on the left and a dumb melon on the right. What's the character? At that time, 6th junior apprentice brother Lu Dayo, he's the one who was looking for me last night, was sitting to her left. I was sitting to her right. This riddle of hers was really joking about you and the apprentice brother Lu. Yilin smiled. Right, this riddle is not hard at all. The answer is the character Hu in my name, Ling Hucheng. It was an old joke that she read from a book. It just happened that 6th junior apprentice brother was sitting to her left and I was sitting to her right. And now, by coincidence, next to me, it's a small dog on one side and a big melon on the other. Ling Hucheng pointed at the watermelon and then pointed at Yilin with a big smile on his face. Ha ha ha, you are really calling me a dog, Yilin said. Well, ooh, Amanda, you're taking sculpture ideas? Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. Yeah, make a kitsune. Oh, wait, you already made a kitsune? Can you show us? Like, I don't know how you would do that. Show us a link or something. That's fun. All right, guys. 5-minute break. 5-minute break. It's gonna be a Mulan break today. What does that mean? I'll show you. Dun, dun. If I can find the music. All right, guys. 5 minutes. Be right back. Welcome back. That was Jackie Chan. The first song, "I'll Make a Man Out of You." He's a great singer, right? I can kind of karaoke that song too. Maybe we'll do that someday. I gotta figure out how to get like a karaoke thing going. That would be fun, right? Someone wanted me to do The Sorcerer and the White Snake, Jet Li. That's a song? I can do that the next break. Let me search for it. That's a song. Hold on. I gotta put it here. The stream doesn't like it when I play YouTube. I think my upload speed is too low, so it might kill the stream. All right, we'll play that next break. Yes, Nikki, that was Jackie Chan. You didn't know? Bigfoot. Discord is like a chat channel, text chat slash voice chat channel. Yeah, it's basically what it is. But you can do a lot of stuff in there. So it's like a big old chat room. Yeah. So I am starting a Discord channel. I think I'll announce it tomorrow. All right. What are they doing? They're eating watermelon. I didn't mean to do that. They're eating watermelon. Is that a metaphor for something? I wonder. She cut the melon into slices. After taking out the seeds, she handed him one. Ling Hu Chong took a bite. The melon was very sweet and soothing. He quickly finished it. Yilin was very delighted in seeing how he enjoyed it. Since Ling Hu Chong was eating while lying half down, the juices dripped all over his robe. Yilin cut the second slice into smaller pieces and handed them to him, one piece at a time. Eating this way, the juices stopped dripping all over him. Seeing that every time when he stuck his hand out to take the small pieces, his wound would hurt because of the arm movements, she started feeding the small pieces of melon directly into his mouth. She's moving a little slowly. She's gradually moving to first base. That's kind of like, that's like before first base. He's still on the bench. It took Ling Hu Chong almost half a melon. It took Ling Hu Chong almost half a melon before he realized that Yilin had not had any of the melon herself. Have some yourself. I'll wait until you've had enough. I've had enough. Go ahead and eat. Yilin felt thirsty. I'm sure she does. So after putting several more pieces into Ling Hu Chong's mouth, she put a small one into her own mouth. Seeing that Ling Hu Chong stared at her without blinking, she felt shy and turned around with her back toward him. Wow, how pretty, Ling Hu Chong suddenly exclaimed. His voice was filled with compliment. Yilin felt extremely embarrassed. Why did he suddenly say I am pretty? She thought. She felt like getting up and running away, but couldn't make up her mind. She felt her whole body burning. Even her neck reddened because of the shyness. Then she heard Ling Hu Chong say, Look, how pretty. Did you see that? Yilin turned slightly and saw him pointing at the west sky. She looked, following his finger, and saw a beautiful rainbow in the distant sky extending out from behind the trees. She then realized Ling Hu Chong's comment, how pretty, was referring to the rainbow, and she had interpreted it in a totally different way. She felt quite embarrassed, but the embarrassment now was also combined with a slight disappointment, very different from the embarrassment earlier, which also had a bit of shyness and a bit of joy in it. Listen carefully. Did you hear that? Ling Hu Chong asked. Yilin leaned her body and listened carefully. She could vaguely hear the sound of flowing water down coming from where the rainbow had started. Sounds like a waterfall, she replied. Exactly. After so many days of rain, there must be waterfalls all over the valley. Let's go take a look. You'd better just quietly rest a few more moments. Yilin suggested. There are only bare stone around here. So dull. I think it's better to go watch the waterfalls, Ling Huchang insisted. Yilin did not want to oppose his will, so she propped him up. She blushed when she blushed when she suddenly thought, I've had him in my arms twice. The first time was when I thought he had died. The second time was when I was fleeing from danger. Although he is still wounded badly, he is completely conscious. How can I hold him in my arms again? He is insisting on going to the waterfall. Could it be that he wants me? While she was still hesitating, Ling Huchang had picked up a broken tree branch as his crutch and started walking slowly. Seeing that, Yilin realized that she had gotten the wrong idea again. Yilin quickly rushed over and held Ling Huchang's arm. She criticized herself inwardly. What's wrong with me? Big brother Ling Hu is a true gentleman. Why am I so capricious and always am thinking weird thoughts? Maybe because I am alone with a man and just want to protect myself? Although he and Tianbo Guang are both men, one has high morals while the other has none. I really shouldn't put them into the same category. Ling Huchang staggered along, yet was able to keep himself supported. After a few moments, they passed by a big rock. Yilin propped Ling Huchang by the rock to sit down and rest. Here's a nice spot too. Do you absolutely have to go over there to watch the waterfall? She asked. If you say this is a good spot, I'll stay here for a while and be your company. Ling Huchang smiled. Fine. The scenery over there is better. If you feel happier watching the waterfall, maybe your wounds will heal faster. Yilin gave in. Ling Huchang smiled and slowly stood up. The two slowly turned around a small pass and were suddenly embraced by the thunder-like sound of a waterfall. After another short distance, the sound became even louder. After walking through a small wood, a waterfall appeared in front of their eyes like a white stripe hanging from the cliff above. We have a waterfall by the side of the Jade Maiden Peak at Mount Huashan also, Ling Huchang said cheerfully. It's even bigger than this one. It looks similar though. Little apprentice sister Ling Shan and I always practice our sword art skills by the waterfall. Sometimes when she gets mischievous, she will even run through the waterfall. Yilin suddenly realized when she heard the name Little Apprentice Sister Ling Shan was mentioned the second time. He insisted on coming to the waterfall despite of his wounds, not to enjoy the scenery. He was thinking of his little apprentice sister, Ling Shan. For some reason, she felt a great pain in her heart, as if someone had just given it a hard punch. Ling Huchang went on. Once when we were practicing sword arts by the waterfall, she tripped and fell down, almost falling into the deep pool at the bottom. Luckily, I grabbed hold of her quickly enough. That could have been one dangerous accident. Do you have many apprentice sisters? Yilin asked dryly. We have a total of 7 female apprentices, Ling Huchang replied, and little apprentice sister Ling Shan is the daughter of the master. We all call her little apprentice sister. The other 6 are apprentices of master's wife. Oh, so she's Uncle Master Yue's daughter. Does she getting along well with you? Ling Huchang sat down slowly. I am an orphan with no parents. 15 years ago, when the respectful master and master wife took me as an apprentice out of mercy, little apprentice sister was only 3. She was much older. I was much older than she was, so I always carried her out to pick fruits and chase rabbits. We grew up together. Master and master wife don't have a son, so they treat me like their own son. So they treated me like their own son. Little apprentice sister is just like my own sister. Oh, Yilin answered. She sure is happy to hear that. After a short while, she said, I am also an orphan with no parents. I was taken in by my master and had been a nun ever since I was a child. What a pity, Ling Huchang exclaimed. Yilin turned toward him and looked at him questioningly. If you weren't an apprentice of Uncle Master Ding Yi, If you weren't an apprentice of Uncle Master Ding Yi, Ling Huchang said, I could have begged Master Wife to take you in as an apprentice. We have lots of apprentice brothers and sisters. With 20-some people, it's really lively. After practices, we just play around in groups. Master and Master Wife don't really discipline us much. When you meet my little apprentice sister, you will surely like her and make good friends with her. Too bad I don't have such good luck, Yilin said. But in the White Cloud Nunnery, Master and apprentice sisters are all very nice to me. I am very happy too. Yes, yes, I didn't mean anything by my remarks. Uncle Master Dingyi's sword skills are almost godlike. When my master and master wife speak of sword arts from different schools and styles, they always mention your respectful master. The Hengshang sword school is no less than the Huashang sword school in any way. Big brother Ling Hu, Yilin said. The other day when you said to Tianbo Guang that fighting while standing up, Tianbo Guang was the 14th best in the martial world. Uncle Master Yue was 8th. Then how is my master ranked? Ling Hu Chong began laughing. I was just fooling Tianbo Guang. There isn't any ranking like that. Everyone's kung fu skills change every single day. Some get better and some get worse because of old age or the like. How could someone actually rank all of them? Tianbo Guang does have a high kung fu skill, but probably not good enough to be 14th in the entire martial world. I intentionally ranked him high to make him happy. Oh, so you were just fooling him. Yulin sat there staring at the waterfall blankly for a while, lost in thought. Then she asked, do you always like to fool people? Ling Huchong grinned. That depends. I wouldn't say always. Some people you can fool, and some people you cannot. When my master and master wife ask me about things, of course I wouldn't dare to fool them. Oh, Yilin hummed. Then how about your fellow apprentice brothers and sisters? She originally wanted to ask, do you fool your little apprentice sister Lingshan? But for some reason she was afraid to put the question forth so boldly. Well, that depends on who it is and what it's about, Ling Huchong said with a smile. We apprentice brothers always play jokes on each other. If we don't fool people, there would be no fun. Even with apprentice sister Lingshan, you fool her too? Yilin finally asked. Ling Huchong had never thought about this before. He frowned and thought for a while. Throughout his life, he had never fooled her on important issues. So he said, for important things, I will never fool her. If we were just playing together, then of course there would be some fooling and joking. In the White Cloud Nunnery, Yilin's master did not laugh much and enforced every strict nunnery rules. The apprentice sisters also maintained cold, emotionless expressions most of the time. Although fellow apprentices cared for each other, very seldom would one tell a joke, much less play jokes on each other. There were quite a few young and vivacious secular girl apprentices under Uncle Master Ding Jing and Uncle Master Ding Xian, but they rarely joked with the nun apprentices. She spent her entire childhood in loneliness and lived a quiet life. Other than breathing exercises and martial arts training, all she did was to drum on the wooden fish and read Buddhist scriptures. When she heard Ling Huchong talking about the fun among Huashan apprentices, she longed for it. It would be really fun if I could go with him, and it would be really fun. It would be really fun if I could go with him to play at Mount Huashan, she thought. Then she figured, after all the major disturbances I caused this time, Master surely wouldn't let me out again once we get back to the nunnery. Playing at Mount Huashan would only be wishful thinking. Even if I did go to Mount Huashan, he would be accompanying his little apprentice sister all the time. I don't know anyone else. Who's going to keep me company? A sudden sadness came over her. Tears almost rolled down her cheeks. Ling Huchong did not notice. He stared at the waterfall and said, Little apprentice sister and I are working on a set of sword arts that will have moves working along with the falling water. Apprentice sister, do you know what the purpose is? I don't know. Yilin shook her head. Her voice choked, but Ling Huchong didn't notice that either. When we fight somebody, he went on, if he has a good level of inner energy, then the fierce inner energy is released along with his punches or weapon slashes. The inner energy, although invisible, will knock our swords away. When little apprentice sister and I practiced our sword skills in the waterfall, we assumed the power from the falling water to be the inner energy from the enemy. So we not only had to block the enemy's energy attack, but also tried to redirect his own inner energy back at him. So were you able to get it done? Seeing that Ling Huchong was in high spirits, Yilin asked. Nope, Nope, Ling Huchong shook his head. It's so hard to create a new set of sword arts, and we couldn't really create any new moves, just modifying some of the Huashang sword art moves we had learned from the master to thrust in the waterfall. Even if we did come up with some kind of new ideas, they were just for fun. It would be useless in a real fight. Otherwise, why was I beat up so badly by Tian Bo Guang? He made a short pause while moving his hands about slowly. I just thought of another move, he said happily. After I recover from my wounds, I can try it out with little apprentice sister. What's the name of this set of sword arts of yours? Yilin asked gently. I really didn't want to have a new name for it, but little apprentice sister insisted on giving it one. She called it Chongling Sword Art because it was created by both her and me, Ling Huchong said with a smile. Chongling Sword Art. Chongling Sword Art. In the name of the sword arts, there's your name and then there's her name too. When you pass it on to later generations, everyone will know it was created by the two of you. Ling Huchong laughed. My little apprentice sister said that because she's like a little child. With our incomplete understanding of martial arts, we are not qualified to create any sword arts. Don't tell this to anyone else. If others hear about this, they'd be laughing their asses off. Of course, I won't tell anyone, Yilin said. She stopped for a moment and then smiled. Actually, others have already heard about how you created your own sword art. Ling Huchong was astounded. Really? Did apprentice sister Lingshan tell others? He asked. It was you who said it to Tianpo Guang, Yilin grinned. Didn't you say you created a set of sword arts, thrusting at flies while sitting down? Ling Huchong burst into loud laughter. I was making things up with him. You still remember that, huh? Then he laughed loudly. The muscles around the wound moved, and he grimaced with discomfort. Oh no, it's my entire fault. Your wounds are hurting again. Please, don't speak anymore. You need to rest quietly, Yilin said. Ling Huchong closed his eyes, but after only a short while, he opened them again. I just thought the scenery here was better, but now that we're by the waterfall, we can't see the rainbow anymore. The waterfall has the beauty of a waterfall. The rainbow has the beauty of a rainbow, Yilin said. Ling Huchong nodded. That's absolutely right. There are no perfect things in the world. When one works so hard to go after something, once he gets it, it's no big deal anymore. But the things he had in his hands would have been lost. Big brother Linghu, what you just said has profound meaning behind them. It's a pity that my understanding of Buddhism is so shallow and could not understand the full extent of it. But if my master heard your words, she would be able to come up with a good explanation. What profound meaning? What do I know? I am tired. Ling Huchong let out a sigh and then slowly closed his eyes. His breathing gradually slowed down, and soon he fell asleep. Whew. This is another long chapter, you guys. Alright, another 5-minute break. Let's see if this song is good. Be right back. I'm back. Amanda, yes, you can request songs, of course. Why not? And let me know what you want to hear. Bigfoot, you are so right. Toyotas run forever. My first car was a Toyota. It was like a 95 Toyota. And that thing lasted forever. I remember the first time I got a license. I took my Toyota Corolla 95, okay? This is a car that when you go up to 75, it starts shaking. So I went up to, I think, almost 100. That was my first week. I was like, how fast can this car go? And it went almost 100 on the freeway. And it was great. It was awesome. Until this cop comes from behind and just pulls me over. I was like, oh shit. And then he pulls me over and he goes, you know how fast you were going? I'm like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, officer. And he's like, yeah, you were going at 90 something miles. It might have been 100. I don't, or not. I forget. But he was a nice guy. He was like, you know what? I'll note it down to 85. Okay. But he still gave me a ticket. But yeah, that was bad, right? Because if I was going 90 something, I think over 100 they take away your license. That was my first week with the license. But the car was shaking though. It was pretty bad. All right. This may be the last segment. Let's do this. Do this. So Yilin is having the time of her life, huh? Ling Hu Chong, it doesn't feel like he's having the same feelings. I think this is kind of one-sided, unfortunately. Yilin stayed by Ling Hu Chong's side and gently whisked a leafy branch to drive away mosquitoes and other bugs from him. After a couple of hours, she felt tired too and almost fell asleep. But she suddenly thought, when he wakes up later, he will definitely get hungry. There's not much to eat around here. Why don't I go get a couple more watermelons? They would help to rid our thirst and hunger. So she strode back to the watermelon field and picked 2 more melons. Afraid that someone or wild animals might bother Ling Hu Chong while she was away, she rushed back. Only after she saw him sleeping soundly did she relax and sat down quietly beside him. Ling Hu Chong opened his eyes. I thought you had gone back, he said with a smile. Gone back? Yilin was surprised. Aren't your masters and apprentice sisters still looking for you? They must be worried, Ling Hu Chong said. Yilin hadn't thought about that at all. Now hearing these words, she got worried. When I see Master again later sometime, will she be angry at me? She wondered. Apprentice sister, thank you for being my company for so long. You have already saved my life. You should really go back now, Ling Hu Chong said. No, Yilin shook her head. How can I leave you out in the middle of nowhere by yourself, with no one to take care of you? When you get back to Uncle Master Liu's house, you can tell my junior apprentice brothers in secret. Then they will come to take care of me. Yilin felt really sad. So it's really because he wants the company of his little apprentice sister, and the sooner I go get her, the better, she thought. Not able to suppress her sadness, she started weeping. Oh no! Teardrops started dripping down to the ground. Seeing her cry, Ling Hu Chong was caught in surprise. Why are you crying? Are you afraid to get punished by your master when you get back? He asked. Yilin shook her head. Oh, I see. You are afraid to bump into Tian Po Guang again. Don't be afraid. From now on, he will only run away from you as soon as you are in sight. He will never dare meet you again, Ling Hu Chong said. Yilin shook her head again, and more teardrops fell to the ground. Ling Hu Chong was confused. Well, my mistake. I apologize. Little apprentice sister, don't get mad, he pleaded. Hearing his gentle words, Yilin felt better, but then she thought, he said these words in such a soft-spoken and submissive way. Obviously, he was used to apologizing to his little apprentice sister, and now just blurted them out without thinking. So she blubbered and stamped her feet on the ground. I am not your little apprentice sister. All you can remember is your little apprentice sister, she complained. After the words were blurted out, she immediately regretted it. I am a nun. Why am I saying things like this to him? That's very inappropriate, she thought. Her face flushed, and she turned aside. Ling Hu Chong looked at her. Her face was completely reddened, while teardrops were still rolling down her cheeks. It was almost like a small red blossom by the waterfall, its petals sprinkled with drops of water, charming and delicate. Wow, she is so pretty. Really no less than apprentice sister Ling Shan, he thought. You are much younger than I am. Our 5 mountains sword alliance is like same root, different branches. We are all apprentice brothers and sisters. Of course you are my little apprentice sister too. Tell me, how have I offended you, will you? He said softly. You did not offend me. I know you want me to leave so you don't get mad at me, what? You did not offend me. I know you want me to leave so you don't get mad at me and won't have bad luck. You said it before. One sees a nun, one loses. She didn't even finish her sentence and just kept on sobbing. Ling Huchang could not help but feel amused. Aha, so she wants to get even with me for the Huayan Winehouse incident. Well, I admit I should apologize for that, he thought. Ling Huchang was such a jerk and said so much nonsense. The other day in Huayan Winehouse, I said so many wrong things and offended your entire respectful school. I really should be punished. He raised his hand and gave himself a couple of slaps in the face. Yilin turned back in a hurry. Don't. I don't blame you. I don't want to bring you bad luck. Very punishable, Ling Huchang said and slapped himself one more time. I am not angry now. Big brother Ling Hu, don't beat yourself. Yilin said in a hurry. You're not angry anymore? Ling Huchang asked. Yilin shook her head. But you are not smiling at all. Isn't that still being angry? Ling Huchang said. Yilin squeezed out a smile, but out of the blue, for no reasons, she felt greater sadness and could not help weeping again, so she turned away at once. Ling Huchang suddenly let out a long sigh. Yilin slowly stopped weeping and asked quietly, Why did you sigh? Ling Huchang laughed hard inwardly. After all, she's just a little girl and is falling for this trick of mine too, he thought. He had been Yue Lingshan's companion ever since he was a child. Yue Lingshan would lose her temper now and then. Yue Lingshan would lose her temper now and then and stop talking to him, no matter how he coaxed her. Regardless of what he said, she would not pay any attention. Then Ling Huchang would put on an act to arouse her curiosity, and then get her to come ask him. Yilin had never been at odds with anyone before, so of course it worked like a charm. In no time, she fell for his trick. Ling Huchang let out another long sigh and turned away silently. Big brother Ling Hu, did I get you upset? It was my fault. Please don't pay any attention to it, Yilin said. No, you didn't get me upset, Ling Huchang said. Yilin could see his worried face, but had no idea that he was actually laughing loudly, inwardly, and had been pretending the whole thing. So she got worried. I got you to hit yourself. Let me hit myself to make it even. She raised her hand and slapped herself in the right cheek. Before she could slap herself again, Ling Huchang had sat up and gripped her wrist. But because of the body movement, his wound gave him a great pain, and he could not help it but groan. Lie down quickly. Don't hurt your wounds, Yilin said hurriedly. She helped him to lie down slowly while blaming herself. I am so stupid. I cannot do anything right. Big brother Ling Hu, is it hurting badly? Ling Huchang's wound does hurt pretty badly, but if it were some other time, he would never admit it. But now he had an idea. I'll have to do such and such to get her smiling again. He scowled and let out several snorts. Yilin was very concerned. Hopefully it won't start bleeding again, she murmured. She felt his forehead with her hand and was pleased to find that it's that time again. I'm starting to have trouble reading. She felt his forehead with her hand and was pleased to find that he didn't have a fever. After a few moments, she asked gently, Are you feeling a bit better? Still hurts badly, Ling Huchang said. Yilin pulled a long face and had no idea what to do. Ow, it hurts. I wish Sixth Apprentice brother were here, Ling Huchang muttered. Why, he has special painkillers? Yilin asked. Yeah, his mouth is the painkiller. I've been wounded pretty badly before, and it was in terrible pain. Sixth Apprentice brother is really good at telling jokes. When I listen to his jokes and laugh at them, I forget about the pain from my wounds completely. I really wish he were here. Ooh, ouch, it really hurts. Oh, ouch. Yilin felt that she was in an awkward position. People under Master Dingyi wore a dry face every day while reading Buddhist scriptures, praying to Buddha, and practicing martial arts. It was very rare in the White Cloud Nunnery to actually hear any laughter. For her to tell a joke was almost against her nature. She thought, Apprentice brother Lu Dayo is not here, and big brother Ling Hu wants to hear some jokes. So I guess I'll have to tell the jokes, but I don't know any joke. A sudden idea popped into her head, and she remembered something. Oh no, she's not gonna tell a joke, is she? Big Brother Ling Hu, I don't know how to tell jokes, but I've read a book of scripture in our scripture room that seemed to be interesting. It's called the Scripture of 100 Parables. Have you heard it before? Have you read it before? Ling Hu Chong shook his head. Nope. I never read any books, especially Buddhist scriptures. Yulin blushed slightly. I am so stupid to ask such a foolish question. You are not a Buddhist, so of course you don't read Buddhist scriptures. She paused and went on. The book, Scripture of 100 Parables, was written by a great Indian monk named Gazina. I'm going to go with that. Gazina. There are many interesting stories in the book. Great. I love interesting stories. Tell me some, Ling Hu Chong encouraged her. Yilin smiled and as countless stories flashed through her memory. Okay, let me tell you the parable of the plow breaking head. A long time ago, there was this bald-headed man. He was naturally bald and didn't have a single hair on his head. For some reason, he got into an argument with a farmer. The farmer had a plow in his hands, so he took the plow and struck at the bald man's head. That blow broke the skin of the man's head, and it started bleeding. But the bald man only laughed and took the abuse without dodging. Bystanders felt it very strange and asked him why he didn't dodge the attack, but rather laughed at it. The bald man said with a big smile, "That farmer is so dumb that when he did not find any hair on my head, he thought it was a rock, and then proceeded to use his plow to break off the rock. If I dodged it, wouldn't I be agreeing that he was the smart one?" Ling Hu Chong burst into loud laughter. Wonderful story, he exclaimed. That bald man was a real character. Even if he has to lose his life taking a beating, he shouldn't budge. Seeing Ling Hu Chong's happy face, Yilin felt great contentment. Let me tell you another one called The Parable of the Doctor Making Princess Grow Up, she said. Once upon a time, a king had a daughter. The king was a very impatient man. Seeing that the princess was just a little baby, he really wanted her to grow up fast. One day, he called upon the royal doctor and ordered him to make a special kind of medicine for the princess, so that when the princess took the medicine, she would grow up immediately. The royal doctor said, "It is possible to make such a special medicine, but to collect all the ingredients and to refine them would require a lot of work. Please let me take the princess home and work on the medicine immediately. I will try to get it done as fast as I can, but your majesty cannot press me." The king said, "Fine, I won't press you." The royal doctor carried the princess back to his own home and then started reporting to the king every day that he was working on getting the ingredients and refining them. 12 years went by. The royal doctor then reported to the king, "I have finished making the special medicine and the princess took the medicine today." He brought the princess to the king. The king was very pleased to see that the little baby had grown into a slim and graceful young girl. He praised the doctor's excellent skills, since right after taking the special medicine, his daughter did grow up, so he granted him great quantities of gold and jewels. Ling Hu Chong burst into loud laughter again. "You said the king was an impatient man," he said, "but he was actually not impatient at all. Didn't he wait 12 years? If I were the royal doctor, I would only need 1 day to change the baby princess into a 17-year-old slim and graceful young girl princess." Yilin stared at Ling Hu Chong with her eyes wide open. "How would you manage to do that?" she asked. Ling Hu Chong grinned. "Apply heavenly connecting glue, dressing, outside, and take white cloud bear gallbladder pills inside." "Those are medicines for cuts and bruises. How can they make one grow taller and older?" Yilin asked, laughing. "That's right. After I carried the baby princess back home, I'd get 4 tailors." "Why would you get 4 tailors?" Yilin was even more confused. "For making new dresses, of course," Ling Hu Chong replied. "I'd have them measure your size and make a set of royal gowns the same night. The second morning after you put them on, with an exquisite phoenix coronet on your head, a silk skirt with 100 flower patterns, and a pair of slippers embroidered with golden thread and decorated with pearls on your feet. You can gracefully walk into the palace. First, you call His Majesty First, you call His Majesty 3 times, then bow down to salute while saying, My royal father, after I took the royal doctor Ling Hu Chong's magical medicine, I grew up in one. Alright, let me know if it's still freezing up. This sucks. I really need to upgrade my internet. It's okay now? Okay, good. I think I had a VPN on, and that's why it was buffering. I turned it off. Okay, good. Let's plow through, guys. We're almost done. Yilin giggled uncontrollably while listening to Ling Hu Chong. When he finally finished, she laughed so hard that she had to bend down and could not straighten herself up. After laughing for a long while, she said, You are definitely smarter than the royal doctor in the scripture of 100 parables. Too bad that I am so ugly and don't look like a princess at all. If you are ugly, then there is nobody who would call themselves pretty in this world. In all the ages, there must have been tens of thousands of princesses, but none can compare to you, Ling Hu Chang said. Yilin was overjoyed to hear him complimenting her so earnestly. Did you meet all those tens of thousands of princesses? She asked with a smile. Of course, I checked them out one by one in my dreams, Ling Hu Chang said. Hey, why do you always dream about princesses? Yilin grinned. Ling Hu Chang chuckled and said, When one thinks too much, he suddenly remembered that Yilin was only an innocent and artless young nun. By joking with him, she had already violated her vows. How could he still carry on with her without any consideration? When he thought of that, he immediately became serious and faked a yawn. Big brother Ling Hu, you must be tired. You should close your eyes and nap for a while, Yilin said. Yes, your jokes really worked magic. My wounds are not hurting anymore, Ling Hu Chang said. He had wanted Yilin to tell jokes so she would stop crying and smile again. Now that she was smiling, his goal had been accomplished, so he slowly closed his eyes. Yilin sat by his side and gently whisked the branch again to drive away bugs. The sound of croaking frog could be heard from streams in the distance, almost like a sweet lullaby. Yilin started feeling fatigue. Her eyelids were getting heavier and heavier. She couldn't keep her eyes open and finally dozed off into her own dream world. Yeah, Nikki says she's not allowed to tell jokes. I don't know. Is she allowed? She's allowed to tell jokes, right? I think it's because she was joking with a guy, with a man, and that's improper. In the dream, she wore the beautiful dress of a princess and walked into a magnificent palace. A handsome young man by her side held her hand, and he seemed to vaguely resemble Ling Hu Chong. Then the two of them started floating into the air and above the clouds. Oh no, is she gonna have a wet dream? She just felt unspeakable joy and relaxation. Suddenly, an old nun ran after them, scowling with a sword in her hand. It was the master. Yilin was shocked. She heard the master yelling, You dirty little swine! You not only didn't follow the rules of the nunnery, but dared to be a princess and mix yourself up with this loafer. Master grabbed her arm while yelling and started pulling insistently. Instantly, everything fell into complete darkness. Ling Hu Chong disappeared, and Master also disappeared, leaving her falling through the heavy dark clouds. Yilin screamed in fear, Big brother Ling Hu! Big brother Ling Hu! Her entire body became weak, and she could move neither her arms nor her legs. Not able to struggle, she screamed more, and suddenly found herself waking up from a nightmare and being stared at by Ling Hu Chong, his eyes wide open. Yilin blushed. She mumbled shyly. Did you have a nightmare? Ling Hu Chong asked. Yilin's face flushed again. I am not sure. Then with a quick glance, she found Ling Hu Chong having an unusual expression on his face. It seemed as though he was trying to control some severe pain. Your wounds are hurting badly? She asked hurriedly. It's no big deal, Ling Hu Chong said, but his voice was shaking. Soon big drops of sweat beaded on his forehead. Yilin could easily tell that he was in great pain. Yilin was very worried and kept asking herself, What should I do? What should I do? She took out a handkerchief and wiped the perspiration from his brow. When her little fingers brushed Ling Huchong's forehead, it felt as if she had just touched a piece of burning coal. She once heard from her master that when a person was wounded by knife or sword cuts and became feverish, it would be very dangerous. Out of desperation, she started reciting Buddhist scriptures. Oh no, it looks like his wound is infected. Oh no, someone cut herself with a scissor. Yeah, yeah, I hope you're alright. Put a bandage on that. For all living creatures, when trouble happens, if he calls Bodhisattva Guan Yin's name with absolute faith, then Bodhisattva Guan Yin would hear him and help him out of the trouble. If the one calling Bodhisattva Guan Yin's name were wrapped in a big fire, fire would not be able to burn him, all because of the holy power of the Bodhisattva. If he were washed away by big waves, then when he calls the Bodhisattva's name, he would be drifting into a shallow spot. The scriptures were from the scripture of magical power from Bodhisattva Guan Yin. At the beginning, her voice was still trembling. After a while, she gradually calmed down. Hearing Yilin's melodious voice getting calmer and calmer, Ling Huchong could tell that she had full faith in the magic power of the scripture. She continued, if one were about to be murdered and he calls Bodhisattva Guan Yin's name, the murderer's knife and staff would fall into pieces, thus protecting him from danger. If demons came to bother people, one can call Bodhisattva's Guan Yin's name, then the demons wouldn't be able to see him, not mentioning hurt him. If one has shackles around his body, no matter whether he is guilty or not, if he calls Bodhisattva's Guan Yin's name, then all shackles would break loose and fall to the ground. He can then be freed from the restraint. Ling Huchong felt his amusement grow at these words and eventually let out a chuckle. What's so funny? Yilin asked in surprise. If I had known that, I wouldn't have to learn Kung Fu, Ling Huchong quipped. If a villain or my personal enemy wanted to kill me, all I would need to do is call upon Bodhisattva Guan Yin's name, and the villain's knife would fall into pieces, and I would remain safe and sound. Big brother Ling Hu, don't be disrespectful to the Bodhisattva, Yilin remonstrated. If I don't recite the scriptures with my full heart and faith, it would not work. She went on. If fierce beasts surrounded you and you were frightened by their sharp teeth and claws, you would call Bodhisattva Guan Yin's name, and all the beasts would quickly leave. When you see venomous serpents and scorpions, you can call Bodhisattva Guan Yin's name and praise her holy power, then they will go back to their lairs. When lightning and thunders strike the ground and hail and heavy rain start pouring down, one can call Bodhisattva Guan Yin's name and praise her holy power so that the bad weather would stop and disappear. For all living creatures, there are so many difficulties, but the holy and powerful power from Bodhisattva Guan Yin will help us get through all of them. Ling Huchong could hear the sincerity in her voice. Although her voice was low, she was really praying for help with all her heart and had full faith to Bodhisattva Guan Yin. It seemed that she had opened her whole heart to Bodhisattva and was supplicating and praying deep from her heart for the Bodhisattva to show her magical power and stop Ling Huchong from suffering. She was almost like saying, Bodhisattva Guan Yin, I beg you to take away all the pain and suffering from Big Brother Ling Hu and transfer all of it to me. You can change me into a swine or send me to hell, but please alleviate Big Brother Ling Hu of his misery. Later on, Ling Huchong could no longer discern her words, only the sound of her praying, so sincere and earnest. Unbidden tears filled Ling Huchong's eyes. He lost his parents when he was just a child. Master and master wife took good care of him, but because he was always naughty and mischievous, they gave him more punishment than kind affection. Among the fellow apprentices, everyone respected the big apprentice brother and dared not go against his wishes. Little apprentice sister Ling Shan was close to him, but had never shown such care and selfless affection that would accept all manner of misery in exchange for his safety and joy. Feelings of gratitude welled up in his chest. In his eyes, the little nun The little nun seemed to have a holy halo around her body. Yilin's prayers became softer and softer. In her vision, there seemed to be a real Bodhisattva Guanyin standing in front of her, waving a willow branch and spreading dew to help the needy and relieve the distressed. And every call to the Bodhisattva was a direct plea to ask for mercy for Ling Hucheng. Ling Hucheng's heart was filled with gratitude and peace, and soon fell asleep to the gentle and faithful sound of the scriptures. Yes, we're done. Woo! That was another long chapter. 2 hours. What was last week? Was last week also 2 hours? I think so. They're getting longer and longer. All right, I owe you guys one shot. One shot. 1 second. I will go get it. I think I'm gonna do the fireball this week. Ugh. Like, it's a little hard for me to talk now after reading for 2 hours. All right, we got my lovely fireball that a viewer gave us. Ugh. Let me change the camera angle. Yeah. Dun, dun, dun. All right. Cheers, you bastards. Ah, good stuff. Woo. Drop that Discord link. I'll drop it tomorrow, guys. What is Captain Morgan? Did it go down smooth? Yes. Fireball did go down smooth. It was good. It was less strong than that tequila I had last week. Is it rum? Okay. Yeah, I'm not really a liquor kind of guy. I don't know a lot. Is that good? Should I get that? Should I buy some Captain Morgan? Is that smoke? Oh, can you see outside? Can you see outside my window? That is smoke. Like, yeah, that's California right now. It's all smoky, okay? It's been smoky for a week. Because the fires are happening all around us. No, that's not fog, guys. That is smoke. Oh yeah, that's totally smoke. And if you walk outside right now, outside my house, it would smell like smoke. It's terrible. Yeah, I told you, California is burning down. You guys, Dark Landmaster. Yep, a fellow CA here. Where do you live, Dark Landmaster? Are you near a fire? Because I'm like a couple of miles away from the fire, like 3 or 4 miles away. Luckily, it's not going my way. It's spreading the other way and destroying other people's homes, I guess. But yeah, hopefully it doesn't go towards my direction. But yeah. build me a moat. I don't think a moat would help. What would a moat do? Like the fire spreads. You know how fire spreads? It's through the air, right? A lot of it, not all of it, obviously, but a lot of it is spread through the air. So if there's wind, it'll just spread right across. It doesn't matter if there's water on the ground. All right, you guys. I think we're good. I think we're done. Darkland Master. Yep, there are thunderstorms coming today, tomorrow, and Tuesday. Hopefully, we'll be all right. All right, guys. Bye. I love you. I'll see you next week.